What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in to the PWTorch Fireside Chat previewing AEW Dynamite, the September 28th edition of AEW Dynamite, coming out of the AEW Grand Slam event last weekend. I'm pumped to be here. Glad to be here. Glad you guys are here with me on what is kind of I don't know, it's not a show that I think Tony Khan is going to, put on put on his top 10 anytime soon. But there's definitely some interesting things to talk about here with AEW coming out of that Grand Slam event, because that Grand Slam event, it was a good showing, a good night a good night at the office, as I like to say, for AEW. You had some big viewership, over 1 million for the Wednesday Grand Slam show, and then you had the highest viewership in weeks for the AEW Grand Slam event. So and that's like, I want to say that's the 5th million in a row, 5th million viewership in a row that AEW secured. So they've got that now. They've got the momentum, and that's important. It's important to ride the wave. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of holdover they have because of the show last week, because the show's good. Plus, as Azan just pointed out, and Azan, thanks for joining the show as always, my friend. The hurricane down in Florida certainly caused travel issues for some, and Tony Khan is on record via controversial tweet. We don't have to make everything controversial tweets, guys. We really don't have to do that. But nonetheless, Tony Khan tweeting out that, hey, if you're an AEW star in Florida and you can't get here, no big deal. No harm, no foul. Stay safe. Take care of your families, which is what exactly he should have said. So that's going to be impacting tonight's show as well. Now, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of things that I think that Tony Khan wants to and needs to pay off on this show. Not like a grand payoff, but checking the boxes as far as next chapters in a host of different stories. And I think what's on tap tonight is hit or miss, and we will go through all of that right now. Amos, what's going on? Welcome on into the show. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. But yes, this is the PWTorch Fireside Chat, AEW Dynamite Preview Edition. We are live most days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, doing live Fireside Chat shows. So on Monday, we do a live WWE Raw preview. On Tuesday, except for last night, we do an NXT 2.0 preview. Today, Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. Tomorrow, 4 Eastern, we do our flagship Fireside Chat, myself and Tyler Sage and you. We take questions and we talk the news of the week and have a blast doing so with all you guys. And then Friday, of course, is the SmackDown preview show. So we're live here on YouTube every single day, amidst a bunch of other content that goes up, including interviews. 2 new ones just hit the channel last week with Steve Macklin and with Eddie Edwards, coming up on a huge match for Eddie Edwards at Bound for Glory against Josh Alexander for the Impact World Championship. We talked all about that. And you can check that out now on the YouTube channel. Zach, what's up, Zach? Thanks for joining me. I love that they're advertising both a Saraya promo and a banger of a women's match. Let's start there. Good topic, Zach. Good topic. I like it. So we've got a lot going on tonight with the women's division. And first and foremost, I think the most important thing and the most important women's segment this week, and frankly, in a long time in AEW, is the Saraya promo that we're scheduled to get tonight. Tony Khan is promoting that Saraya will speak after making her debut last week at the end of the Fatal 4-Way interim AEW Women's Championship match. This in all likelihood is going to be a home run. In all likelihood will be one of the best women's promos that AEW has seen since its existence. And, frankly, it's a low bar, I'd say, but it's, Britt Baker has delivered a ton of good promos, and now Saraya is going to step up to the plate, and she is full confidence that she's going to hit a home run, but really she has to hit a home run. Like, this is a big acquisition for Tony Khan and for AEW, and so to not get all you can out of this would be really bad for the women's division. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Big star comes into AEW on the women's side of things, comes in, a lot of fanfare, then fades away. I mean, you can see that from even acts that are pushed, right? Ruby Soho, big kind of showing, big splash when she came into the company, and then very much fizzled. Thunder Rosa, big splash, kind of went up hot, won the title, and then same thing, fizzled. Toni Storm is on that same path. Saraya, okay, I want to make sure I get that right. Saraya, folks. Thank you, Zach. Really appreciate it. Saraya. So, with that said, and somehow top women's talent keeps falling into Tony Khan's lap, whether that's Thunder Rosa, whether that's Ruby, whether that's Toni Storm. It's fallen into his lap. And here it happened again with Saraya. And you want to hit a home run here. We don't know whether or not she's cleared to wrestle. I would imagine she is. She kind of hinted that, she may be, and that hinted at if she returned to the ring, it would have to be in a big time match, presumably for a quote unquote, a lot of money and a big payday. So it'd be tough to see. It'd be tough to see Paige or Saraya back in a wrestling ring in AEW with the kind of fanfare that she debuted last week without being cleared. You just wonder why debut her in that way if she's not gonna wrestle. So I mean, obviously we'll see, and obviously it goes without saying we want her to be fully cleared and ready to go if she's gonna get back in the ring. We don't know yet, but if she can, tonight's promo sets up months and months worth of business for Saraya in AEW. I mean, look, there's money in, and I said this in the flagship yesterday with Wade, there's money in Saraya's first match back from retirement. You want to get the most that you can out of that. And her chasing down a world title is another storyline down the road. And with this promo, she's got to tie that together. She's got to come out there and tie it together and tell the audience why it's so important that she's back and what being back means to her. You create investment there, and then you build a journey to wrestling again, and you build a journey to the world title. But it starts tonight. It's a big night for her, and a big night for Tony Khan. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they pull out here, because again, that's a big get. I mean, that's a really smart win for Tony Khan to get Saraya's services and be in the Saraya business. She's a top star. She owned that moment last week. Man, I just loved her walking out onto that stage. And it's not that I don't like watching people, cry and get emotional at the top of the ramp when the crowds are going wild for them. But it's also fun to just see somebody just command that moment and soak it all in and take it all in. And she did that. And that was great. I think if we see an extension of that tonight, it's gonna make for a very memorable promo, I think. Let's jump into the comment section here. Azan's asking a good question. Do you think they have her first match for pay-per-view or on TV like they did with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson? My goodness, I'm still doing it. So to me, you can do it both ways. Because you have two chapters in this story, I think you build to, one of them on pay-per-view, and then whatever happens after that on TV happens after that on TV. But if it's me, I'm putting her first match back on TV, and then I'm putting the world title match on pay-per-view. And that doesn't necessarily mean full gear, But that's how I'm balancing it. I'm using her to draw money and draw eyes on TV for a bit, and then a different match, different lever I'm pulling for. What am I trying to say here? For the pay-per-view, for the title. So that's a good question, Azan. Appreciate it. Amos checking in. Are they going to have her wrestle on TV because the next pay-per-view is a little ways off? Yeah, it is. So she's not somebody that I think should be wrestling all the time, regardless of her health issues, right? Like, she does not need to be that person for this company. They got other people and other women that are very talented to do that. So make her wrestling special. And so, yeah, you can spread it out, but you don't, even if you have her wrestle on TV around Full Gear, doesn't mean she has to wrestle on the Full Gear card. Maybe you can tell a months-long story from now until Revolution, which is at the end of February or early March. You don't have to keep her in constantly. Yeah, Jamie Hayter for the first match back makes a ton of sense. Because they're building towards a Britt Baker Saraya match, I think, whether that's going to be for the title or not. But Jamie Hayter's a good gatekeeper there, and she was involved last week in the angle before Saraya came out. I think that's smart. And Zach, yeah, I mean, Tony Khan has pushed Toni Storm very hard. But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, like, she doesn't have a lot of momentum behind her right now. He pushed Thunder Rosa very hard too, and just the momentum's just not there. They're champions, but in name only. Like, neither one of them as champion, including right now, feel like they're the top stars of their own division. And so that's more what I mean rather than push. He pushes them, but I don't think they're not framed in a way that screams top star. Speaking of Toni Storm, then we've got a AEW interim Women's World Championship match. Toni Storm defending against Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb pinned her in a tag team match a couple weeks ago. So kind of paint by numbers in terms of how they got here. And, I like this match a lot. Like, on paper, I love the match. It should be really good. And Serena Deeb is always has and seemingly will continue to deliver top tier matches. What's up, Matt? Thanks for joining us, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Let us know your comments on AEW Dynamite tonight. We'll discuss them here on the air. So yeah, like, I think Toni Storm and Serena Deeb are in line for a great match. But guys, we've seen this before. We've seen this story play out where Serena Deeb is got kind of like a gatekeeper heel for new champions, and they have good matches, but they don't go anywhere after that. And I just don't want to see that here with Storm and Deeb. Like, where's Storm's next opponent going to come from? Is it going to be Britt Baker? Is it going to be Saraya? Somebody else? Jamie Hayter? I don't know. But while this is going to be a good match, what does it do to build up a story around the AEW Interim Women's World Championship? That's where I struggle with this, and it's not just me just thinking it up. I mean, but look back, Thunder Rosa had the same exact feud with Deeb. And we just didn't see the fruits of that being able to get capitalized on. So, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to the match, no question. But it's either Deeb has to mean more. All right. She has to either mean more so that this match is even bigger than it is right now, or, don't do this right now. Do something else. I think, Zach, you're right. I think we're going to get some sort of shenanigans during this, which makes it all all the more eye rolling. it yields more eye rolls than I think you'd want, but I think you're probably right. I think that's probably how they finish this. So, but this is going to be a good match. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and that's worth stipulating to. I mean, that's what Tony Khan generally leans on for his shows is not necessarily the storytelling, which to me is instrumental in a good product. But man, the matches, this is going to be a good match. There's no doubt about it. Okay, we'll let's keep going here. Matt, thanks for chiming in. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. I think your comment's hilarious. I have no idea what's on tonight, actually. I always watch those, so I'll be watching, and I missed the Elite. Yeah, the Elites, when are they coming back? We reported on PWTorch.com this morning that Matt Jackson took to Instagram while promoting a Young Bucks shoe line. Man, they've got merch all over the freaking place. But on there, he's just, he thanked the fans, thanked them for all the years of support, thanked them for checking out the shoe. and then after that, he said, hey, we're looking forward to seeing you guys soon. So maybe the Elite returning to the ring is more imminent than we originally thought. But I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to find out. So, but good point on the Elite, man. I appreciate that. Okay, moving right along here. We've got Chris Jericho defending his newly won Ring of Honor World Championship against Bandito. Another great match, but man, it's like this. I've ranted about this on the Fireside Chat, our flagship show here, other podcasts. You guys probably know how I feel about this, but you know what? I'm going to do it again because it's so darn important. You cannot trot out somebody like Bandito and not put the proper frame around him. This guy is a top talent all around the independent scene. I love the idea of doing the match with Chris Jericho for the ROH World title. Bandito's a former ROH World Champion. It makes perfect sense. But build this out. Build this out. Like, why does it have to be on less than a week's notice? Like, just move it on down. Build it up for 2 weeks. You're going to need a main event in 2 weeks too. So go that direction. And it's not to say you can't have Chris Jericho on Dynamite as world champion. It's not to say you can't have Bandito come out on the show, but like, give people time to get invested in the guy that's so cool that you've brought in, right? Like that's what I say. Where I say this is going to be a good match for sure, but my goodness, are you getting the most out of it? And I just don't think that they are in this instance, because if you don't know Bandito right now, you're just going to kind of go, okay, like, maybe I'll watch, maybe I won't. I don't know. But if you know who he is and you know the history that he has with Ring of Honor, and it's been built up a little mini feud, for 2-3 weeks, that's going to draw more eyes. Think about it. You've had 1 million viewers for AEW Dynamite the last handful of weeks. What's been like the pin in the pinwheel, which it all revolves around? It's the world title. It's interest in the world title. It's the tournament. It's people and talent vying to be the best. That's the story. And I think people can glob onto that. I think people want to see that. It's no surprise that that those weeks of AEW television did as good as they did. That type of storytelling works. And so why not apply that here, especially if you're trying to make the world title? Like someone, Azan jumps in here and goes, hey, Jericho with the Ring of Honor belt is like Vince with the ECW title. Yeah, I don't know if it's that insane, but it's pretty weird. And Jericho's the champion to try to do something about it and do something with it, right? So, make it worth something. Make it worth his while. Zach, I think it is. I think it is worth it to invest 2-3 weeks for TV time. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, what's the downside of that? No, I don't think there is one. I just don't think there is one. And then there's this. Steven, welcome on into the show. Appreciate you being here for sure. Thank you as always. But the question is, why do they even bother bringing ROH Get rid of it. Look, they bother with it because Tony Khan spent some solid coin on acquiring that company, and now he wants to, have it make money back for him. And so I think, my gut tells me that he thinks that he maybe would have had a Ring of Honor television deal at this point, or some kind of streaming deal, or some sort of distribution deal, and he doesn't. So now we're in this kind of holdover period where Ring of Honor is around, and Tony Khan doesn't want it to die right away, so he's keeping it around. But the more you just trot that title out as a one-off match, the less people are going to care about it, even if and when they get an ROH show. It's like, what will it really mean at that point? What will it really mean at that point if it continues to just kind of be thrown on cards like this, or thrown on AEW Rampage like that, right? That's, I don't know. That's it's not how you want that brand to be defined, unless it is. But then if it is, why is Chris Jericho holding the title? So yeah, interesting comments. Yeah, I think Amos, you're right. ROH will be the NXT of AEW if they can ever get it off the ground. And that would be good. Tony Khan would love that for sure. Would absolutely love that. All right, moving on. We also have tonight another great match from an in-ring perspective, but one with really no backstory. Juice Robinson against Jon Moxley in an eliminator match, whatever that is. Who knows what an eliminator match is, right? Oh my gosh. This could be a good match. Juice Robinson and Jon Moxley never have bad matches. Never. And they won't have one here. But again, is Tony Khan getting the most out of this? I would argue no. I agree, Amos. Yeah, this match, as in Jericho versus Bandito, should have been built better, along with Moxley and Juice. Yeah, that's the thing. That's where we're at. It's not that these matches are bad. It's that are you getting the most out of them? And would people care more if they had a week or two or three to learn about Juice Robinson, see him on television, and get a sense of why he's as good as everybody says that he is, right? I mean, I think that's worth it. I absolutely think that's worth it. This is really interesting design. Great stuff. Is the only man Juice Robinson to beat Jon Moxley besides Punk this year? Yeah, I think he is. Going back to Zach here. My only thing is the story is obviously Garcia versus Jericho. As Jericho does the dishonorable things with the title, it's about racking up dishonorable things. Yeah, it is. It totally is. And I'm sure we're going to get the continue of that continuation, easy for me to say, of that tonight. But what you still should build a matchup, right, Zach? I mean, I think we could definitely agree on that. I'm with you, though. It is about Jericho and Garcia. That match, when it happens, is going to be for the ROH World title, presumably, and is going to be a big deal. But in the meantime, make those title defenses mean something, so that match down the road matters even more. I'm predicting in both those matches, Jericho goes over with some shenanigans. Moxley goes over clean here. And Tony Storm, I think, will go over clean as well. So not too much up in the air as far as the finishes go tonight. All right, let's keep it going here. We'll spend a couple more minutes previewing the show, and then we'll ride off into the sunset. And I will be on the old Twitter machine later during the show to continue our chat. What kind of fallout will we get from last week's Hangman Adam Page big, I guess, quote unquote, big golden ticket battle royal win? So he's got a shot at Jon Moxley on the line, and MJF looms in the background, and they're promoting tonight that MJF will be live on camera, and so we can look forward to that. My guess is it's going to be something along the lines of Jon Moxley that he targets his attention to, and why wouldn't it be, right? Makes total sense. I want to see more from MJF. I want to see more from MJF. I want to see him either pivot the crowd so that you don't have like the top heel in your company getting cheered, or turn a babyface and move on, change directions. Sometimes as a booker, that's what you got to do. Yeah, MJF and a mic is always a top is must see TV. I agree, Zach, and I want to see what he can do, but I want to see him stay in a lane. I want to see him stay true to the character. I want what he's saying and what he's doing to coincide and be consistent with the reaction that he's getting. Last week, I thought was just an abomination. I didn't like that segment. I thought he really hurt himself as a heel. I thought he really hurt Wheeler Yuta as a babyface. And I very much think he needs to pivot on that. He needs to figure out what he wants to do with this now. And no matter what that is, whether that's stay heel or whether that's turn babyface, I don't think he can be the same shtick that he was doing before he left. Because people like that now. He didn't have to cut that promo in the middle of the ring, but he did. And so now people like that part of MJF. And so just like any good heel, you got to cut that. And if you're not willing to cut that, then you got to paint him in a different corner, and look at what the company would look like with him as a babyface. But man, I mean, just imagine, I talked about this last week, but imagine, MJF just ranting and raving about Jon Moxley and his alcohol addiction, and all of a sudden the crowd's cheering the guy that is saying that stuff about Moxley. That's not what you want, I don't blame the crowd. I don't blame the audience. Zach says here, blame the crowd. Zach, they're the ones cheering a guy who's doing only things to get booed. Yeah, I mean, look, they are, but to me, the talent, it's on the talent in the end. If you don't want to get cheered, don't do the things that the crowd are cheering. And MJF leaned right on into it, and it's weird because that's his shtick, right? That's what he does to get heat, but it's not the same kind of heat anymore. So pivot, make them hate you in a different way. This is kind of like, it's become like a novelty caricature of itself here 2 weeks in. And I think MJF is just so much more talented than that. And he's got so much more range than that and so much more value than that. And it's why he's become the big star that he had. It's why you can't miss him on television, because he's just, he's so good. And it's kind of like he co-opted that, he kind of co-opted his own shtick during that post Double or Nothing promo that got him over in a big way and got him got him the kind of next level over, I'd say. But at the same time, it turned his shtick babyface, and turned the company heel and got Tony Khan booed. Like, you got to address that. You can't keep beating your head against the wall, a la Roman Reigns as a babyface a handful of years ago, right? Similar thing flipped, but it's a similar thing nonetheless. All right, so there you go. And then I think I'm just checking through the notes here, and that's all that's promoted for tonight's show. I'm sure we'll get some Sting Darby fallout. I'm sure we'll get some Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs fallout. I hope we do. That'd be really, I think that's compelling. I think it's a compelling story. Maybe something with Jungle Boy as well. I think that would be a good way to spend some time tonight. But really though, those three matches are going to take, hopefully they all get time and they take up a good chunk of the show. And then you go from there and fill. But I think tonight is going to be an interesting night because you don't have Grand Slam. Just think about it. At All Out, you had like a couple weeks where you were kind of riding the wave of the controversy of the big brawl, right? And then soon after that, you had Grand Slam. And so you were building into that show. Well, now you're kind of back on an island, back on normal AEW schedule with the pay-per-view in 5-6 weeks, whatever it is. Now you got to do the work. got to do the work, and hopefully we can see that tonight. Stephen, Amos, Zach, Azan, Matt, who else joined us here? Yeah, I think I got all you guys. Thank you so much for being here live. We'll be live tomorrow, the flagship. We go way longer than just 30 minutes. 4 p.m. Eastern. Be here. We'll discuss Dynamite tonight. We'll discuss a variety of other topics in the pro wrestling world as well. I thank you all for being here. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on Twitter at PWTorch. How to do that? There we go. I will be on live tonight watching AEW Dynamite. So let's have it on blast doing that. But once again, I thank you, and we'll catch you guys next time.